So, what you're trying to say is that you fell here from another world?
The phrase, "so what you're trying to say is that you fell here from another world," is a phrase that we would say in English to bridge an understanding with the other person we're speaking to. The word "so" is a conditional word. So you do this, so you do that. It's used in many ways. The noun here is you're. We can separate this as you are. Paimon, the listener, responds to Traveler, who is a speaker, who told her the story that he fell here from another world. Which brings up the subject and verb in this sentence. You are trying to say. This basically makes Paimon retell what Traveler told her in her own words. And the subject here is not quite identified yet when you play the game at the start. This includes another world. The two essential verbs in this sentence is you are and you fell. So this segment over here could be confusing for some because the word are is an auxiliary verb that indicates the present or continuous tense. The word trying is the main verb of the phrase, and it shows the core action of the subject, which is you. The word say is an infinitive form of a verb, which acts as the object of the verb, trying. The segment as a whole describes the action of trying to say something. The word trying means put in an effort. Do note that are trying is in the active voice and not in the passive voice, because in English, was trying means that you were trying to say something that happened in the past, but because Traveler explained his story to Paimon now, it is are trying. It also indicates that this happened today in story relevance.
But when you wanted to leave and go on to the next world, your path was blocked by some unknown god?
Yeah, so this sentence is basically interrupted with the word but, which is a word that introduces a clause which contrasts with what has already been mentioned with something else. It's continuing the sentence with, so what you're trying to say is that you fell here from another world, but the next clause of the sentence is, when you wanted to leave and go on to the next world, comma, your path was blocked by some unknown god. The subject is still Traveler, with the verbs wanted, leave, and go. He wanted to leave and to go somewhere else with his sister. In this case, another world. But his sister, Lumine, is not in the sentence. The other subject is the unknown god, who acts as an object in this sentence, who prevents him from leaving to the next world.
Outlanders, your journey ends here.
So the god is insulting them by calling Aether and Lumine Outlanders, implying that Lumine and Aether are not from here. The other subject is Aether and Lumine's journey. Other words similar to journey are travel, or the most universal and epic Odyssey. I don't want to get to the god's story and perspective yet, because that's another whole complexity. In relation to the sentence, Aether and Lumine are having a great journey, but the god has to stop them for some reason. Whatever their goals are, the god doesn't like it and must end it.
Who are you? The sustainer of heavenly principles, the heir interrogation of mankind ends now.
Lu Ming asks, "Who are you?" In many languages, sometimes this phrase is, "You are who?" Like in Chinese. 你是谁? The god says the sustainer of heavenly principles, which loosely translates to an overseer. Arrogation, in other words, is another word for arrogance, and she's implying that mankind is arrogant. Or naive. Mankind, man, woman, humans, us. Mankind is another subject in this sentence. The god is classifying us as mankind, as humans, and that we must end, implying to be defeated or die. I always choose ether. Dang it. Yeah, that's better. Beware my power, Otrismique.
Give my sister back!
Because the god is leaving, the traveler says, "Wait, don't go. Give my sister back." Give my sister back is another way of saying, return my sister.
And just like that, the god took away my sister. Some kind of seal was cast upon me, and I lost my power. So while we used to travel from world to world, we are now trapped here.
And just like that is a phrase to say that something just happened so suddenly. The next section is, the god took away my sister. Something was removed from his life. Someone special to him. And that some kind of spell was cast upon him, and he lost his power. So while he used to travel world to world, he's now trapped in this other world that he knows nothing about. I don't know where you are in your English journey. Maybe you're in university, 大学. English uses a lot of long sentence structures, and using clauses is very popular that this game uses. Sometimes English schools don't teach that you could start sentences with and this game uses that. It's very popular to do that informally because it starts with and just like that, so suddenly. And then it goes to a subject-verb-subject sentence to the clause after. The god took away my sister. Keep in mind, structurally, whenever there is a comma, there is a new clause. Just as a reminder. The word and has multiple functions for describing something suddenly, bridging information, or adding any additional information to another clause. The phrase, so while we used to, implies occurring behavior, continued behavior in this case. Ether and Lumine traveled world to world constantly. The gods stopped them and faced them and kind of reportaled them. I won't give away too much in the story, but as a result, they are trapped in Tevat. In the sentence, Ether, the subject here, this means he doesn't know where he is. English paragraphs can be hard to break down what they mean, especially when it's just very short paragraphs sometimes. In this example in the game, it's a really good one because in English we have a lot of long sentences that uses subject, verb, subject clauses, and with many other clauses that have many purposes and uses in a sentence. Let's go line by line again. And just like that. Meaning, so suddenly, the god took away my sister. Subject, verb, subject. Some kind of seal was cast upon me. Some spell was cast upon me. And that is still subject, verb, subject. And I lost my power. That is the result. So while we used to travel world to world, meaning the continued behavior of traveling world to world before, we, as in Ether and Lumine, are now trapped here. I want to keep these lessons generally short, between maybe 10 to 15 minutes of your time, maybe 12. Though I have a communications degree, my goal here is that you're learning English in the more practical and conversational side. So expect more of this from my repertoire or style. School is not teaching you wrong. It's just very different when you're trying to implement it intimately. Because it's going to be different, when you're using it outside the university. And that's the same to every language. I don't want any of my lessons to be boring. I want this to be really fun. And I want it to be useful and practical and powerful. Even if it's just for 10 to 15 or 12 minutes of your time. I sped run this game so much in my life. From getting Raiden, not getting Raiden. Getting Zhongli, losing Zhongli. Logging into Sumeru in college was a headache. And then into Fontaine to catch up. So yeah, a lot of catching up during my time when things were officially coming out. When it comes to this channel, I'm going to include all the cutscenes, maybe some story quests, maybe some world quests. But, most of which are going to follow the story when you're logging in and just trying to learn. I'm helping you with meaning, grammar. Why is that sentence using that thing I don't recognize? Yes, I can help you with that. Oh my god, I can definitely help you with that. Oh my god. Yes, I can. All Americanisms. Yes, Genshin Impact English does use this in some cutscenes, and I could definitely explain them. And slang.
Alright, leave it to us. We'll be back in a jiffy. The suspense is killing Paimon. Please. It's a wrap.
Says who? Why, you two-faced... Here, you've completely changed your tune.
To be fully immersed in English in the game is to go to your game's language settings and setting them to auditory English and then also in text English, because that's going to let you recognize the patterns of English and trying to accidentally get you fluent. Yes, it is still very effective. Yes, it is like watching TV. I still encourage you study in school just to understand the fundamentals. That's what school is best with talking with. This channel is not for fundamentals. I want to break down all the stuff that you might have learned and that you can actually put it to the test, maybe, or gain another perspective in English. I'm on a captions and subtitles career. I want to know if this helps. Genshin Impact has various transcriptions in your native language, preferably audio and in text. So whenever you're learning English, you could hear English, see your native language. You could have it the other way around. That could definitely enhance your education. YouTube already has transcription if you're trying to listen to me. Generally, it makes no mistakes. Sometimes there is. Je parle français et dis-moi si la transcription française être le premier. Yeah, like and subscribe. Amen. Sub.
Yawning without covering your mouth. Uncouth.